This is Jaden Middlebrook, who calls time after ball one and switches to the left side of the plate. Going to change it up. Took the first pitch right-handed. And now the second pitch left-handed. Back of the box. Puts down the bunt, and it's a nice bunt. However, better defensed. The play made crashing on the charge there from third base Maddie Searles, and Mia Rivers also all over that play. Rotation there by the Team Colorado Rawlings defense. Very well done in the throw out over to third base. So now one out, runners on first and second. And we're back to the top of the order with 2 on and 1 down. Mackenzie Denson with her second at-bat of the game. She lined out in the first inning. Now back in to try again. Shortstop for Team Colorado Rawlings, Sylvia Kelly, by the way, was the defender who made the good rotation to make that out at third base. But this ball is a single and will turn into more. As the ball gets loose in left field, the run's going to score. So the courtesy runner who checked in for Caroline Esom, that was Ryan Gallegos, and Ryan comes around to score. Gallegos touches the plate for the third run for Texas Glory, 3-0 in the top of 2. And the single plus a one-base error on the move up there for Mackenzie Denson. She's at second. This ball shot down the third base line, just foul. Jaden Middlebrook stepped around it. She's at third base right now. And it's Lauren Lucas who has the bat. Another left-handed batter, foul ball. Strike one with 1 out. Hey, you see Sooner Legends hanging there behind home plate. Our thanks to Sooner Legends, local restaurant, bar, hotel. Among other things they're doing with this Triple Crown OKC tournament, providing lodging for a lot of teams and helping the event be a great experience for all the teams who make the trip to OKC. They're also providing some barbecue for our production crew today, so they're our favorite people in town right now. Going to roll some brisket over for us here between games. Our thanks to Sooner Legends. With 1 out and runners at second and third, here's a square and a pop foul. Now an 0, or making a 1-2 count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One and 2, 1 away. Here comes the potential out pitch from Mia Rivers. Fouled away. Lauren Lucas battling away in the box. Lauren also plays basketball and track as her other sports of interest, and she said her hobby is sports. So she's filling those days that way. Baylor, her favorite college team. We asked the players what college team they prefer, since we are right here in OKC during the Women's College World Series. Get a whole variety of answers, as it turns out, not just the local favorite for these kids necessarily. They've been seeing these college teams on ESPN and other networks all over the place, and you see some pretty interesting responses to that college question. Another foul ball leaves the count at 1 and 2. Rivers' pitch is down, 2-2 count. Just the little things, and these teams are talented. The players are intelligent softball players, as you can tell if you watch these games. But a little thing there, Lauren Lucas on that dirt pitch put up the stop sign hand to her teammate down at third base just to make sure she knew not to come. This time she waved her, then stopped her. Good work by Lauren Lucas at the plate. Not just a hitter, but also a helper for Jaden Middlebrook, who is down at third base. Pretty tight backstops here at Reeves Park, so you got to get a pretty wild one to be able to score. If you get a straight bounce back, it's tough to make it home on a pass ball or wild pitch. That ball made it full now on the count, 3 and 2 with 1 out. Fouled away again. Glory hitters have shown well today. fundamentally solid swings and also very good approaches at the plate. And now, after several pitches seen, this ball is hit up the middle and an infield single, putting it in a good position off to the glove hand side, but just out of reach of the shortstop, Sylvia Kelly. On base now for Lauren Lucas, and that scores a run. Jaden Middlebrook made it to the plate. Mackenzie Denson still out there at second base. Lauren Lucas at first base. And back to the plate, already with one hit in the book today, Jessie Camacho, who with 2 outs started a little rally in the first inning for her team that ended up with 2 runs scoring. And now Camacho a chance to drive in some runs. That ball gets loose and will move up the runners now at second and third with 1 away. Jessie Camacho stepping back into the box in front of catcher for Team Colorado Rawlings, Lindy Milkowski. Throw back, not in time. Mackenzie Denson back safely. 2 balls and no strikes. So another prime hitter's count, and Jessie Camacho hitting in that number 3 spot for the Glory. Exactly what you want. She gets sawed off. She's going to score at least a run here. They're going to hustle it out, and just in time, the play made by the defense for Team Colorado Rawlings. Jenny Allen picked it up and flipped it over to Lexi DeAlexander at first base for the second out, but the run scores. Mackenzie Denson across the plate. RBI for Jessie Camacho. 5-0 now. Texas Glory on top of Team Colorado Rawlings. 10-year-old championship game of the Triple Crown OKC Fastpitch tournament. With 2 away, another chance to plate a teammate. This pitch is up and no chance to advance as it bounces back, and Milkowski's right on it. Abby Orick up for her second at-bat of the day. Abby told us that she was part of a basketball team that won a national tournament. Basketball and fast pitch, her sports. And she'd like to play both of those for either University of Texas or for Baylor, is what Abby told us. Said she wants to play for either UT or Baylor. She'd like to play both softball and basketball. And no reason to tell her differently at this point. A talented player hitting cleanup for a very talented team, the Texas Glory. This ball is blasted down the left field line and foul. Way out in front of that pitch was Abby Orick. Although Abby did say she wants to play in college. I love the answer. We asked, why do you like playing fast pitch? And Abby said, because she gets to see her friends. That's what it's still about. She's 11 years old. Yeah, she's got some aspirations and some goals, but if nothing else, it's a constructive, healthy way to spend some time in a pretty good social environment, especially when you travel around to these national tournaments. Another ball sails to the backstop, but no chance to advance. So with 2 outs, a 2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Abby Orick. Steps back in. Here's the pitch from Mia Rivers. That is down, and it's a full count with 2 outs. Three-two, 2 outs. And a solid swing on that full count pitch will drive in the 6th run of the game for Texas Glory. Great at bat by Abby Orick. Single and an RBI as she drives in yet another Texas Glory player. Lauren Lucas is going to cross the plate on that single. Hitting clinic so far here in the first 2 innings. put on by Texas Glory. Annabelle Schraub with her second at-bat. Annabelle singled her first time up. And she'll look at a 1-ball, no-strike count. Abby Orrick trying to draw some attention down at third base. Now time is taken. Quick chat with Schraub. Jimmy Middlebrook coaching third base for Texas Glory. Had a few thoughts on strategy here. Todd Kreitz coaches first base. Todd Kreitz over at first base. He's had a lot of action today. 6 runs already here in the first 2 innings. We're just in the top of the second. Hour 45 time limit on this game, by the way. A 7-inning ball game should it go that far in the 10-year-old championship. Pitch fouled away. 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down. Mentioned it before, but we'll throw him out there again. Garrick Schraub is strength and conditioning coach for Texas Glory, and Nate Orrick handles defensive coaching duties. Nate Orrick, by the way, lists his occupations as construction estimator and gator hunter. Things I don't do. Fouled away again, still 1-ball, 2 strikes. Got to agree with head coach and third base coach Jimmy Middlebrook. Favorite band singer Dave Matthews is his choice. Hard to disagree with that one. Although Mumford & Sons making a hard run at Dave Matthews right now. We'll still give Dave the edge on longevity. There's a throw down after a stare down and back safely. Abby Orrick keeping the pressure on at third base and trying to help her teammate Annabelle Schraub take the focus off of the plate and put it on the bases. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This ball is jammed to shortstop. Here's the throw. Will it be in time? She beats it, and the run scores. Good hustle down the line by Annabelle Schraub. She'll beat that throw from shortstop. Slow roller to Sylvia Kelly, and Sylvia not able to get it there in time. That run scores now 7-0 Texas Glory. Abby Orrick just crossed the plate. Second time Abby's scored today. She's got 2 runs in the book, and 5 other teammates have scored 1 time. Ball is up again, 1-0 count. So in this inning, Mia Rivers, 5 runs here scored by Texas Glory. And the pitcher, Mia Rivers, has gotten a little more wild here this inning, was dialed in on the zone early on, but she's been up and down frequently here in the top of 2. Mia's a talented pitcher. Right now, Texas Glory, some talented hitters are working well. There's a strike delivered. Now, Mia told us she's pitching right now, and she told us this is her first season pitching. So she just got introduced to that and learning how to do it. She's already reached a level where she is the selection on a good team. She handles the duties in the circle for her team in a championship game at a national event. Pretty impressive development for Mia Rivers, who sees a ground ball end up as another on base. A little indecision on where to go with it. Looking at second, but that play wasn't there. And by the time the throw went to first, safe at first. Another hustle down the line. And Texas Glory, everything going their way. So a meeting at the mound and meeting in the circle. There's no mound out there. They've done a great job of keeping it flat here at Reeves Park. That was Sage Harlow with another ball on the infield, and Sage down to first base. So she's in place now with 2 outs. And she's still got Annabelle Schraub in front of her at second base. Trying to find a way out of here, Team Colorado Rawlings. See if the conference works. Joy Milkowski, head coach for Team Colorado Rawlings. Played at University of Kansas, did Joy Milkowski. And told us yesterday she has loved her time in OKC here this week and has really found the local people in the middle of all their challenges with the weather and the tragedy and the destruction that was going on to be extremely hospitable, helpful. Runners will move up on the wild pitch. Coach Joy Milkowski told us that her team, with no games played on Saturday, they were looking for somewhere to practice. They called a local tennis center who was extremely happy to help and welcomed them over to the center, let them work out on the courts that were dry because the fields were all wet. And really made an impression on this Colorado team. Did the local Norman residents in the middle of everything going on. They said, sure, yeah, we understand. You made a trip and hate to have it not play out the way you want. So Joy Milkowski wanted to make sure that people heard that she's been very impressed by the hosting duties here. There's a strike delivered. And the daughter of the coach we're talking about, coach is Joy Milkowski. Her daughter is catching. That's Lindy Milkowski. She just caught strike one, and now a 2-1 count with 2 outs. Carter Page is batting. And she's got her teammates Sage Harlow and Annabelle Schraub out on the bases with 2 down. It's 7-0. Didn't think we'd be talking about this soon, but worth noting with the 7-0 score on the board. The run rules would be 10 after 3, 8 after 4, and 6 after 5 in the 10-year-old division. So some jeopardy of that happening. Team Colorado Rawlings, a talented offensive team also, and they can put a few runs up. They can turn this right back into a ball game, but if the Glory can keep the foot on the gas pedal, they're taking this into early ending territory. And if they get these 2 runs in, it'll put Rawlings on the ropes. This ball sprayed over again to our adjoining or our neighboring field. But I look back, nobody damaged on that one. Carter Page now with a full count, 3-2. Carter Page the batter. Here's this full count pitch from Rivers. Swings through it, and there's the 3rd out. But 5 runs in the top of the 2nd inning for Texas Glory. An offensive outburst as they continue to swing the bats well. And the Glory with that big lead will now take to the defense. 7-0, bottom of 2 coming up. It's Triple Crown OKC 10-year-old championship game on CBSSports.com. And Team Colorado Rawlings trying to dig their way out of this 7-0 hole. Back to the bats they go. First inning, it was 3 up, 3 down for Team Colorado Rawlings. They did get 1 runner on. Mia Rivers made it around to 3rd base, but then was taken out on a rundown. It was about her, I think, 4th rundown of her trip around the bases. A couple of rundowns at 2nd, a couple at 3rd, and finally erased by the Glory defense. A strikeout and a ground out in that first inning for Team Colorado Rawlings. So while Texas Glory has spun through the batting order almost twice in the first 2, Rawlings still looking to establish some offense here. Ground ball back to the pitcher and out at first base for the first out of the bottom of the 2nd inning. Was the number 4 batter Lauren Griggs. Lauren out of Parker, just erased on that pitcher to first base put out. Caroline Easom picked it up and tossed it into the glove of Jesse Camacho, who's handling first base. Strike 1 on pitch 1 to Hunter Gilbreth. Hunter's nickname is Spaz, and she wrote that for us. We're not revealing anything that Hunter didn't tell us. Hunter tells us she goes by Spaz, 10 years old. interesting thing about Hunter that she shared with us was she just said, I always make people laugh. Love to hang out with my friends. All about the smiles. Right now she's looking at a 1-2 count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out to Hunter Gilbreth. Easom's pitch paints the inside part of the plate, and 2 down. It's a good pitch if you get the call, and Isom just spotted that one right on the inside black for the second out of the bottom of 2. Pop up and a third out there, so another clean inning for the Glory defense. Glory making a substitution. Sounds like they're going to check in a new participant. So we'll double check on that, make sure we got the information right. Here's a pitch driven down the right field line. Catch made out in right field. First out recorded as Rawlings gets the out. And that's Katie Orr out in right field. Katie makes the catch, 1 down on, I think that was 1 pitch. I was a little distracted because I was trying to check out our next guest on the webcast, who's not only going to come and talk to us, but also call pitches from behind home plate, maybe a first. Joy Milkowski, thanks for coming up and chatting with us. Joy's on headset. Joy was just in the third base coaching box a second ago.
Yes, sir.
We caught her coming across the field and said, hey, come on over. I was just talking a minute ago about the comments you told me about how hospitable people had been here. Just tell
Absolutely.
us about your trip to OKC.
Sure. Obviously, that first night was very scary. The storms, these Colorado girls aren't really used to that inclement weather. So, we were in the hotel, and it was really shaky for them Friday night. Well, Saturday came, and we decided we needed to get them out in the sunshine and just remind them why we're here. We're here to play ball. The weather was going to be beautiful. So the Westwood Tennis Center allowed us to come in and use their facilities for free, just a really welcoming, hospitable spirit. It was really amazing that they just opened up their home to us, so to speak.
So to bring you up to speed, if you're checking out this webcast, Joy is the person I was talking about who played her college ball at University of Kansas and now coaches Rawlings and her daughter Lindy. And I don't mean to, I honestly shouldn't say this right now, but this is awesome. You're sitting here with us behind home plate. Your daughter is turning around looking at you on a headset talking to me. She's getting pitch calls. That's right. I mean, this has to be a first, right?
This is definitely a first.
It's a mom-daughter moment.
I was going to say, I like your view better than mine down there. This is a great view. I think I'm going to sit here the rest of the game.
You could just get her one of those little mirrors like you wear when you ride a bike.
That's
you
right.
can look back and just see you.
That's right.
You didn't do a very good job there, Coach. There's a
I
walk.
know. My pitch calling needs some work, I think.
So a walk after Caroline Easom lined out to right field for out number 1. Now the walk issued to Jaden Middlebrook. So Middlebrook is on base for Texas Glory. And back to the top of the order, Mackenzie Denson. And Coach, Glory, not only as far as outcome today with the swings, but fundamentally this is a talented team here at the plate.
You bet. Honestly, from top to bottom, all facets of their game, they're so fundamentally sound. So for a 10U team, you just have to tip your cap because, they do it well on all sides of the ball. This young player is just amazing. Her speed, her aggressiveness. She hits for power from the left side. To be such a small player, to be so aggressive and such a skilled player, but they have those up and down the lineup.
Throw down to first. Good backup down there at second. Ball nearly got away, but jumping in to take care of business, Jenny Allen right on the mark right there. So that keeps an error from moving a runner up. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out, and Mackenzie Denson batting for Texas Glory. Head coach Joy Milkowski of the team in the field is with us on headset. And Coach, I did want to give you a chance while you're here because I know you got to take care of everybody who takes care of your program. Rodney Rivers and Mike Searles join you on the coaching duties, and tell us a little bit about your coaching staff and kind of your approach, how you guys handle things.
Absolutely. Well, I have got the best staff behind me. I coach with such intensity that I need to have, differing personalities to balance us. So the way it usually works is, I'm the intense one. Rodney is the funny one, and Mike is the serious bench coach. So, those personalities all really balance each other.
Yeah, actually on the information sheet that was filled out, Rodney Rivers' occupation is listed as jokester.
And that is, he does his he takes his profession seriously, that's for sure.
He's committed. He's all in. There's a walk to Denson, so the speed now on the bases, but Denson is still in behind her teammate Middlebrook. Now Middlebrook can run it, but Denson is the player that, Coach, you were just talking about, a leadoff hitter, smaller but with some power. This throw is not seen coming by Maddie Searle, but again, great job on the rotation there. We've seen a couple times out of your shortstop, Sylvia Kelly. She really has moved well. You had the bunt throw out, force play at third, and it's tough to get from short to third on these small bases and beat a runner. Pretty good movement out there by Kelly.
You bet. And what we've been trying to do, much like the Glory has obviously done, is really just work on the fundamentals. Softball's a simple game if you keep it simple, and we just want to keep it simple right now. We're obviously just trying to throw and catch. We've heard it said softball's just a game of throw and catch, and that's what we're trying to do.
So if you weren't sitting here right now, I would say this. You don't have to reveal any of your strategy here, but it looks like the play that's called there is your daughter Lindy, the catcher, when that sort of fake steal, that throw draw play goes on there. Mm-hmm. She's tossing it over the head of Searle with a backup coming to try to draw the jump off.
You bet. Well, with the lefty, we always have the threat of a bunt, especially when we're behind in the count. So we've got to really watch that here. So Maddie's job is actually to crash, and it's Sylvia's job. Nice throw. That's a nice throw. And we teach the girls to be aggressive because at 10U, what you're trying to teach them is you're trying to teach them the right way to think, knowing that the execution is going to come. As they get older, they'll get better, they'll get stronger.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know there are a lot of coaches who do that, but I want to tell you it's appreciated by people who really enjoy the game, because today's outcome may not be the most important thing. If you don't execute the play, but you do the right play, you put the right play on. Today, if we don't get the out, in a year, 2 years, 4 years, if we get it, that's what we're working toward. I commend you for that approach.
Absolutely, and sometimes it costs us, right? Sometimes we throw a ball away, or sometimes it doesn't go our way. But we just have to realize that when we do it the right way over time, and when you do enough reps, I don't know if you've heard that we challenge the girls to do 500,000 reps, repetitions, throwing, catching, everything. Nice hit.
Here's a great swing, and up the middle it goes. Base hit. That's going to bring one runner around. It'll be Middlebrook scoring. She touches the plate, and a strong swing there as the Glory continue to swing those bats and add on Lauren Lucas with the hit. 8-0 Glory on top of third. That now sends Jessie Camacho back to the plate, and Camacho started the whole problem here after the first 2 outs in the first inning were recorded. Camacho on base, and then a couple of runs ended up scoring. Then the big second inning, and now she's back up there with 1 out.
And I'll reveal, as a hitter, that's the easiest out she's given us, because every time, no matter how I call the pitches, she's hitting the ball, she's putting the bat on the ball, and you watch her swing. It's so fundamental. She keeps her hands inside the ball. Lucky for us, we just got that nice ground ball out there.
Yep, ground ball. It's Sylvia Kelly picking it up, and you've got Lexi still over there at first base, isn't she? We didn't make any changes.
Yes, absolutely, and her dad was an All-American third baseman in Arkansas. So we're blessed to have some natural talent, so if we can get lucky on that one. I guess foul ball's lucky.
That ball will sail foul off the bat of the Glory's number 4 hitter, Abby Orrick, who has had a solid start in this game as well, and nearly dropped that on the line. It hung up just long enough that this little bit of breeze took it foul.
We were helpful there. It's good to be lucky, right? Sometimes better to be lucky than good.
Take it where you can get it.
That's right.
Hey, by the way, Joy, I know you've got another. Looks like you got another daughter, Ryan, who plays the 12-year-old level now. Is Ryan here?
She is here.
And playing, or just
She is here and playing. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. And both teams came out, kind of sisters. All of the teams in our program try to really have a great camaraderie. So another great hit.
Yeah, this ball shot through the gap between third and short. Diving try by Searle, and now moving up to second. And in safely is Abby Orrick, so she'll take the extra bag. Another run scores. It's Denson across the plate. And Coach, you were saying watch for the runner going to 4.
That's right. So you see that. I can't ever stop coaching.
If you're watching the webcast and you heard a little wah, that was Coach coaching, but then holding back. You know what? I'm going to say go for it. If you need to say something from here, who cares? America can hear it. It's all right.
They're probably thinking the same thing, aren't they?
And it's the internet. But I am going to ask you to keep it clean.
Well, no worries about that.
Joy, I know, and your name is Joy, but you're a Cubs fan. How do you reconcile that?
It's a lonely, awful place sometimes. We obviously love the Rockies too, but we actually love watching the game. And in fact, that's what I tell the girls is part of raising your softball IQ is to watch a lot of diamond sports. When you watch, you start to see things, you learn things, and we get a ton out of just watching other teams play.
Interesting that to tack on to that, I've got a couple of sons, and they play ball, and my older son also just started umpiring, and the awesome thing that he's figured out now is sometimes when he goes to games, he watches the umpires instead of the game.
You bet.
That is, even for a player, a young player, watch the umpires sometimes, because you can learn a lot of things about the game, or even how to understand more about why calls are made or how calls are made. So go to every game you can and watch everything you can. One game, go watch the grounds crew when they come out, and one game watch the umpires. I wanted to ask you, Joy, with your experience at Kansas and maybe even your youth experience as a player, when was the moment in your process of playing where you realized that playing in college might be an opportunity? I mean, when did you really start to sense that you could do that?
My sophomore year in high school, I got mentored by an amazing coach, and he was the one who really showed me the bigger picture. And I was just so blessed because I was a pitcher almost all the way through. And I will say this, that a lot of your best softball athletes tend to be your pitcher, your catcher, your shortstop. So I was just very blessed, and he really showed me that I had the talent both hitting and pitching. Now, after my 4th elbow surgery my senior year, I gave up the pitching career, but my back carried me through in college, and that was really helpful.
So you were probably 15 years old or so in that sophomore year. I guess part of what I wanted to touch on, or maybe get your insight on, is I think anymore with the way showcasing is and how young people start playing, I think a lot of young players might feel, by the time I'm 10 or 12, I'm not a stud. I might not have a chance, and that's really not true.
Not true. Well, think about how much growing. A lot of girls still don't even hit their growth spurt till they're 12, 13, 14 years old. We've seen girls shoot up. And for us, what we teach is it's all about reps. There is something to natural ability and everything else, but if you put in the work, you can outwork anybody. And that's what they're looking for at the collegiate level too. They're looking for the girls who are going to come in and be part of a system, be part of a program of work. You look at the girls at the College World Series now, they're looking for that.
Annabelle Schraub, the batter. Annabelle left side hitting here with runners on second and third. There's a 2-2 count and 2 outs. We're in the top of the third inning, 9-0 the count, as the Glory, they've tacked on again here in the third. They've scored in every inning. The big inning was their second inning. And we're looking for a third out here on behalf of our guest, Coach Joy Milkowski, who's the head coach of the team playing defense right now. Hey, I did want to ask you before we let you run back over there. Mia Rivers told us it's her first year pitching.
It is, if you can believe
that. I made the comment that I know she's having a rough go right now, but to be the person that you feel comfortable giving the ball to in a championship game at a national tournament, that's a pretty big move for Mia to go from I've not pitched to here I am in the circle.
Nobody better. It was interesting. She came to me last summer and said, Coach Joy, I think I want to pitch. And we all just kind of laughed about it. And, we just thought, gosh, really, because she was our starting shortstop last year. She was unbeatable as a shortstop. And, I took her out and I said, all right, well, just throw me a few. Well, she practically took the glove off my hand. And I thought, maybe there's something to this. So we started working on her. And she and Lindy were one of the remnants of this team last year. And, they're just two of our workhorses. We've just been so blessed to have these two be the captains and the anchors of this team.
As she looks good, she started off very well those first couple of batters and was pounding the strike zone. Ooh, a little off speed, looked pretty good.
That was a tough call, and love the men in blue out here working hard for us. But really, from this angle, it's even worse because I can really see that. Not sure where we missed on that one.
Full count pitch. It was 3-2 with 2 outs, and the call was probably up. The change really did drop, and if you see it from that perspective, it's one of those calls probably either way. Now, the Glory probably wouldn't have reacted much because, hey, we're up 9-0. I guess we'll take that damage. Ground ball third. That is picked up by Searle, and she'll take the force out at third. So I'm going to let you get back over to your squad. To the bottom of the third inning we go. Thad Anderson with you from Norman, Oklahoma, Reeves Park. And again, our thanks to all the park crews, not only here at Reeves, but all around the area who have done great work over the last few weeks and this weekend to get a whole lot of fast pitch played. Didn't get a chance to cap that off with Coach Joy Milkowski, but she did pick Oklahoma to win the Women's College World Series, and that was yesterday when we asked her that question. So she's in good shape right now. Oklahoma playing very well. And Tennessee also playing some ball right now. Going to be a fun series here in OKC. There's a strikeout for out number 1 of the bottom of the third inning. Lexi D. Alexander the strikeout victim. So the minimum number of batters faced to this point in the game. And the only runner who reached was on a strikeout. The leadoff batter, Mia Rivers, struck out, but the drop third, and she reached first base. So no hits in the book here in the bottom of the third for Team Colorado Rawlings. And again, just the minimum faced now on the 8th batter for Rawlings with 1 out in the bottom of the third. Bunt try, flies foul. Maddie Searles, the third baseman for Team Colorado Rawlings, is at the bat. A defensive execution on both sides of the ball. Impressive. You can tell these players have been coached well. Carter Page, the third baseman, there she is, all over the bunt. It will go foul, but Carter, fearless, standing right up there and ready to field that. Carter, the third baseman we're talking about, told us she'd like to be a softball player professionally when she grows up. And her favorite college team is Arizona State. Carter, who lives in Sulphur Springs, Texas, prefers the Sun Devils. There's a bunt try and pushed right through it for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This ball flies to the backstop. Another pitch coming. Katie Orr is taking a look at this 1-1 pitch is what they have on the board now. Another high pitch for a ball. And 2 balls, 1 strikes, or 1 strike verified there. Our plate umpire, Oscar Booker, just showed the digits. 2-1 count. Anthony Kendall, first base umpire, who joined us earlier on the microphone. And Floyd Flynn handling third base. 3 umpire crew on this 10-year-old championship game. 3-1 count now, thanks to Oscar Booker, Anthony Kendall, and Floyd Flynn, our 3-man crew. Part of a talented crew of officials across the tournament. There's a pitch in the zone from Caroline Easom for a full count now. That pitch is up and taken for ball 4. Down to first base, just the second runner of the game. Katie Orr reaches. I think Katie was the sub in. There was a sub reported last inning, and I think that was Katie checking in for Felice Fresquez was the move that was made. So I check through the lineup now. So Katie was the one who came on. And with her reaching base, that'll get back to the top of the order for Mia Rivers. Rivers pushes through a bunt try, strike 1. 0-1, 2 outs. Rivers reached on a strikeout her first time up and then made her way around to third base, but was erased in a rundown. That was the only real scoring threat. Here's a ball chopped up the middle. Easom picks it up and throws to first base for the out. Jesse Camacho takes a throw, and another sharp inning. 1 walk recorded, but otherwise another clean one there for Texas Glory. Mia Rivers moved out to shortstop. Coach Milkowski told us that that was her original position and a fantastic shortstop before she asked if she could try her hand at pitching. Brianna Warren is handling center field, and this ball will head to left, but will sail foul. 1 strike on the first pitch of the top of the 4th. Batter for Texas Glory is Victoria Ramirez. Her first at-bat of the game. Victoria just checked in to grab an at-bat in this championship game. Victoria from Garland, Texas. Told us her nickname is Big Judy Rudy. Want to hear more about that one? Parents Jose and Rhonda. Jose made the trip here to OKC from Garland. This ball picked up and thrown across. Out number 1, ground out by Victoria Ramirez, who told us she enjoys playing fast pitch because it's fun And it's also kind of cool to see how other people play out of state. Nice for these young players when they gather at a tournament like this to see different teams from different areas, some different styles and strategies often employed. And Victoria, who just grounded out, told us when she grows up she wants to be a singer. We'll get her over here on the headset and let her try a little something out. One down. And the batter, Caroline Esom. Ball one, or I make it ball two. 2-0 count for Esom. She's got I'm going to go ahead and jinx it. She's got a no-hitter going in this championship game as the pitcher for her Glory. She's also scored a run, singled, and flew out to right field, or to right field. So 1 for 2 in the game with a run scored. This ball popped foul down the third base line. Hustling out there in left field, been doing it all day, all over the field. Sylvia Kelly took over left field, was earlier hustling at shortstop. Love the energy of Sylvia Kelly. Here's a ball lofted into the 5-6 hole and grabbed on the running catch. Nice play for the out. Lindy Milkowski, who just moved from catcher to third base, gets some instant action and records the out. Rolling around that defense out in right field, Katie Orr is handling right field defense. Glory batter is Felice Fresquez as the substitution is made by Texas Glory. So Fresquez batting from the left side with 2 outs. This ball skips in, ball 1. Mentioned him again, Jimmy Middlebrook is the coach who just came down from third base, head coach for Texas Glory Blue. He's the man who just made the substitution call to our plate umpire, Oscar Booker. Ground ball and 4-3 on the putout. There's a clean inning for Team Colorado Rawlings as they quickly worked their way out of that. Great run in this tournament by Team Colorado Rawlings. They won their semifinal game this morning and played 3 pool games yesterday, as did the Glory, and both of these teams played great ball in pool play and then added on a semifinal win this morning. Carlsbad girls and Mississippi Glory were the other semifinalists today, but it was Texas Glory and Team Colorado Rawlings who got the wins and ended up in our championship game. Webcast here on CBSSports.com for Rawlings, needing those 2 runs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. They started off offensively with Brianna Warren. Bree, as we mentioned, the daughter of Ty and Keisha Warren, also Brielle, Bailey, and Brooklyn, part of the family. And as we're talking about family, we've got the father of the, I already jinxed it once. I mentioned no-hitter going here, so it's too late. I've already done it, but okay. It's already on the board here. And been a heck of a performance here. There's a strikeout, 1 down. We welcome John Esom to our webcast at a Bossier City, Louisiana. John, a CPA, and John also the proud father of the pitcher for the Texas Glory. Tell us what you're thinking about this game. How do you feel about this thing?
Well, right now I think she's pitching well, and any time a team can give you the run support of 9 runs, any pitching daddy knows that the bigger the lead, the more relaxed the pitcher, and the more relaxed the pitcher, the better they're going to throw.
As we watched Caroline pitch today, and we were talking to the head coach for Team Colorado Rawlings. She actually came here and did a half inning with us while they were on defense. Joy Milkowski, who's now coaching third base,
right,
asked her about the bats of this. This ball is going to spin back. Looked like it came back fair, and it did. That's an out. That ball went right down the line, foul for a little while, and then worked its way back fair. And that's the right play, staying with it, stepping on the bag. Pretty easy one as it came down, but Jesse Camacho, good heady play to stay with it. So as we talked to the head coach for Team Colorado Rawlings, and we talked about the batting order for the Glory, it's relentless. Not only ability to, the power hitting and the great hitting, but just fundamentally every kid who walks up there looks really good.
They are. It's 1 through 9, and then they've got 3 girls on the bench, and they just don't strike out. They just put the ball in play, and as you know, if you put the ball in play, good things are going to happen.
And I'm glad you said that about they don't strike out. We've seen the number of multiple foul ball at-bats. We saw a couple of players fouled off 3, 4, I think 6 pitches a couple of times, just battling pitches away until they got a better one. It looks like sort of a team culture that everybody just part of. I'm not going to go down easy.
I think a lot of it has to do too is they don't want the ride home in the car from the dad if they strike.
the sources of motivation at 10 and 11 are still pretty easy to pick out.
They are.
I just want happiness in the car. So tell us about Caroline's pitching sort of, I don't want to say career because she's still a young player. I mean, she's just a kid, but for maybe a young kid who's watching this, a 6, 7, 8-year-old who's just thinking pitching looks kind of fun, what has she done to sort of work her way in a position to be comfortable in the circle in a championship game like this?
I tell you, one of the main compliments I get on Caroline is that, you know, that she reeks of confidence on the mound, but it's not so much confidence as it is what I would call poise. And what she does is she just doesn't get rattled. If you hit a home run off of her or whether she strikes you out, she's going to give you that same look. And as you can see right there, there'll be a hit right there, and hey, no big deal. It's going to happen. I mean, and you don't get rattled. And I would say any girls that are coming up that, you know, if you are a pitcher, that's you know, you see it so many times, 1 or 2 walks, and they just melt on the mound. They'll just melt, and that'll just flat kill you. You just got to, hey, I don't care how good of a pitcher you are, there's hitters that are good enough to hit you, and it's just going to happen. And if you're thinking about getting into pitching, I can tell you this, it's pitching is a position where you just can't pitch for 2 weeks and then put it up. And, you know, it's a year-round commitment. You have to pitch several times during the week. But the rewards are, you know, you can control a game, and those are the rewards.
Talking with John Esom from Bossier City, Louisiana, a CPA back in Bossier City. He's a parent with the Texas Glory team, and his daughter Caroline is trying to finish off what was a no-hitter until I jinxed it, and now she just gave up her first hit. That was the number 4 batter, Lauren Griggs, who had a solid single up the middle. But she comes back with the 3-strike or the strikeout on power pitches, and like you just said, that was a great example. Caroline, there goes the hit. She turns around, throws a couple of power strikes, and gets the out quickly. That will end it. I want to ask a couple other questions, John, but we want to acknowledge the championship right there, 9-0 on a run rule. Texas Glory, the champions of Triple Crown OKC. And congratulations to Team Colorado Rawlings for making this championship game a great showing here. But it's Texas Glory Blue taking home the top honors at Triple Crown's 10-year-old bracket here in OKC.